So here is how I will rank the big six right now. I would put Vine at number six. Again, it's doing all right. It's still thriving in my opinion to a certain extent. But as compared to the other big six, it's just not doing so well. Vine is owned by Twitter. It's still fairly good though. I'd put at number six Twitter. Periscope is pretty huge right now. Apparently, there's about 10 million members, and that number's growing like every day. And 2 million then are active on Periscope every day, which is astounding. I just find that there's a lot of spam on Twitter. The engagement for people who actually, favorite and retweet your stuff and actually interact is much lower than it is on other platforms like Instagram. I still think that Twitter it will still be around for a long time. The whole idea of 140 characters or less, and the fact that so many people use it and tweet each other, and that whole retweet function, I just think it will be around for a while, despite it not doing so well. Again, also, Twitter has done a lot of new things in the past year. They've added Twitter video, which is a 30-second video you can add to a tweet or a reply, and that's doing fairly well, and it gets more engagement, and it's just more real. The problem is that it's still fairly clunky and glitchy. It's still fairly good though, and also now you can add comments when you repost or retweet something, and I think I like that as well too. Still, I would put it at number 5. Number 4, I would put as Snapchat, and I think this is huge right now. It is the hottest thing right now for the younger generation. But the thing is, I'm ranking it lower because I don't know if it has any long-term value. Again, who knows right now? The other ones above of Snapchat, I do think that there's long-term significance to them. Number 2 and 3, I'm going to put as a tie. So let's just put both of these at number 2. Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is just huge, and in certain ways I'd put it ahead of Facebook for sure. In the sheer amount of engagement it gets, it's not as hot as Snapchat right now, but I think in terms of long-term value, I feel like it's just more durable, and it's just still getting tons of engagement, much higher than you get on Twitter or anything else in terms of people who like and comment back. This is the platform really for celebrities. One could argue, some people say it's the last frontier for celebrities and Hollywood celebrities. Although I could say Twitter, a lot of people are still on there as well. Amazing in terms of how the platform is aesthetically very pleasing, and it's just great for viewing very visually compelling photos or text or images. There's that phrase that marketers ruin everything. And one could argue that, maybe once after a few years it gets bloated and the spammers come on, it could go downhill a bit. As far as right now, though, I've been hearing a few success stories from people who have started from zero and built fairly profitable businesses off Instagram alone. Frank Body is probably the biggest example. I wrote an article on them, and they have went from zero to $20 million in revenue in 1 year off Instagram alone. Again, there's much more to that story than that. Who knows if revenues are actually profits? And from my own personal research, they did a lot of other stuff. They hired out a creative team. They got the help from a marketing/tactical company and a bunch of other stuff. Facebook, I think, is very huge right now, and it will continue to be because of its infrastructure that has already been built into the picture. There are already over 1 billion people who have accounts on Facebook. And because of how it is built and the user base on there already, many of which who are very active, and the fact that there's a lot of older people on Facebook now. Nowadays, you have everyone on Facebook. It used to be just the young kids, but now you have older people on there, grandpas, grandmas on there, and they just love it. And and a lot of these people, they're only on Facebook. They're not on any of the other platforms because they get to interact and talk with their family and friends and so forth. Again, not all elderly people are taking to Facebook. Having said that, though, the whole infrastructure is very, very incredible, and it allows for rapid virality, which pretty much means if something is really, really good that's released on Facebook and it gets enough traction and exposure initially, it will spread like wildfire and just be shared like crazy. And again, as I've mentioned, a lot of the Facebook pages just illustrate how much you can build a following on. I've seen some really I'm seeing some really, really incredible virality on Facebook that is not easily duplicated. But but again, I've seen people who have grown tremendous followings on Facebook alone, from motivational speakers to social media gurus and so forth. By the way, I don't claim to be some type of social media expert or guru. In fact, you should be kind of cautious when you ever hear something like that. I always think back to that time when Jack Ma, the founder and CEO of Alibaba, which is one of the biggest Chinese internet companies in the world, and back when he first pitched ideas for starting an internet page and a internet yellow pages for China, he went to a panel of internet experts, which is kind of funny because this was the 1990s and there's already self-proclaimed internet expert. And so this whole panel of people told him all these things about how he should give up and how it will never work because they understand the internet better and they are the internet experts. Guess what happened? He didn't listen to them. And look at him now. Where are these internet experts? I don't even know. So keep that in mind. Every single thing that I have said could be 100% wrong. And if you've heard or been on the internet in the last year, you will realize that Facebook videos are huge. And ever since Facebook installed them in the way that they are installed now, which is very ingenious, what they did was that they make the videos autoplay, but they autoplay on mute. And so when you're scrolling through your newsfeed, you will see videos playing already without you having to press play or anything. And if you want to watch them or listen to them, you unmute them. And so because they're already playing, it kind of like entices you to watch more. So I just find that very intriguing as opposed to the thumbnail model that was used previously. The point is that ever since this has occurred a few months ago, YouTube and Facebook have kind of been competing a lot. They've been getting a little edgy because they realize the potential of this. And a lot of internet experts and social media experts have been saying how it's a huge battle, Facebook video versus YouTube video. In reality, in my opinion, I think they're playing in completely different fields, unless Facebook does something drastically different. All these online internet experts are saying that Facebook video will one day overtake YouTube video and all sorts of other stuff. And the reason why I say that they're in completely different fields, which is, believe it or not, very contrary to what the majority of the crowd is saying right now, is the fact that Facebook video is really just very short-term, short performance. You release it on a feed and every one of your followers may watch it, but then it just disappears into oblivion. YouTube is the long tail game where it is a giant search engine and search database. They're playing in different fields. When you want to figure out how to tie a tie and you search it on Google or YouTube, you will find tons and tons of those videos, some of them the absolute best quality, the absolute most relevant ones, and those will continue forever to rack up views upon views. You can do the same thing on Facebook and they will be lost into oblivion. So if you look at the statistics, Facebook videos, when they are released right now, they're getting much more exposure and views initially on the first day, or maybe even the first week, than if the counterpart YouTube video were to be released. However, in the long tail, in the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years, again, I would say, even YouTube videos have a shelf life of 2 to 3 years because of revolutions in video quality and video technology and video editing for, new people to just make better videos of how to tie a tie. But still, in those 3 or 4 years, you will rack up many, many more views than that Facebook video will, especially if your content is a searchable type of content. And you can see this across companies. Like, just look at BuzzFeed. Like, BuzzFeed is playing on both fields very well, but they know the power of both, which is why they are tailoring their content for Facebook and specifically for YouTube and releasing them on both, not just one. A lot of YouTubers and people who have gotten their success on YouTube are so averse to putting stuff on the Facebook, and I don't understand why. Who cares if Facebook is not paying you for your videos? Who cares if people are stealing your videos and putting it onto Facebook? If you put it on there first and it goes viral on there, then there's no reason for anyone else to copy you and get a fraction of those views because you've already done it on your own official Facebook account. In addition to that, the sheer infrastructure for virality on Facebook is just huge. Your videos may be getting 1 million views on YouTube when you release them, but if you put them on Facebook, you have the potential, and I've seen it, to reach 100 million people just based off how Facebook and its algorithm works right now. Again, I've heard a lot of things about Facebook. You know, some people, they've had success on Facebook and then one change in the Facebook algorithm and they're not getting discovered anymore. So that is exactly what I would do if I had that type of following or, you know, traction on Facebook and time, and I really wanted to focus on those sort of things. And of course, I would put YouTube as number one because of all the things I've mentioned already, and also the, you know, sheer amount of entertainment as well as information and all sorts of other stuff that's on here. Now, not everything blows up virally on YouTube, but a lot of things get tremendous traction on YouTube alone. So that's all I want to say, and this is my Halloween edition of State of Social Media. And as an honorable mention, I do have to mention that I've heard rumors that Amazon may be getting into the online video space, and I think outside of Facebook and YouTube, it's probably one of the only ones that has the infrastructure and technology and resources and bandwidth and can afford to store as many videos as Facebook or YouTube does. The point is that YouTube, I think, is pulling farther and farther ahead, and there really is no number two competitor in the exact sense and function that YouTube functions as a search engine, like Metacafe and Vimeo and Vessel. Vessel is in a completely different space. It's about private, high premium videos for a membership fee. Metacafe and Vimeo have just fallen so behind. They technically do what YouTube used to do, and Metacafe used to be a direct competitor with YouTube. It was getting just as much traffic, but now they've just died. They've fallen to the wayside. You know, Vimeo is still going on, and it still serves a different type of market, you know, documentaries, long form or exclusive content, but it does definitely seem like YouTube is pulling farther and farther away and developing a stronger, durable competitive advantage. And I think Amazon or Facebook, this is the time to get into the game, if ever. That's all I gotta say. As always, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Leave now while you still can.
Leave now before Master finds you.